Well, Andrea, we are getting electrical done. We're getting the plumbing wrapped up. We need to clean up that light bulb that's broken on the floor.
I got a problem with that.
Which speaks, I think the measurement was 92 inches, I'm not sure. So we got to get this rock done. I'll tell you what, let me mark this first.
Now you've got all that stuff in the wall then.
You know you're getting somewhere when you have sheetrock and mud in the house. And it's not like mud, like, you know, mud pies.
It's like mud that's on my jeans
We're talking like, yeah, sheetrock mud. Speaking of sheetrock mud, hey, welcome to House to Home. All-purpose mud. Hunza Foot's behind the camera. Andrea over here. Kris right here. We've got a lot to talk about today because we're getting ready. Things are happening.
I know. Walls go up, things are
I know. We still got to get the hole in the living room or in the kitchen filled up. But what we're going to do today is this when we get back is we're thinking ahead. I'm trying to think ahead. You're teaching me some things like typically I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I know you can't believe that, but one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to bring in a professional painter. And because there's a lot of things going on the inside of this house. And then in the second segment, when we come back, we're going to go outside and talk about, because we've even got more going on outside. Stone, hardy, old wood that's peeling. You know, we need to do what's right to make it the best it can be.
So that the paint sticks the longest.
See, typically the only place the paint sticks is on my hands.
Yeah.
But this time around, we're going to try to make it actually stick on the house.
That's why you're going to have somebody else do it.
Exactly.
You know, you're not supposed to shower in that stuff. That's maybe part of the problem. Yeah, okay.
Always got a smart aleck on the set, don't we? Well, when we come back, we'll get rolling on the inside.
Inspiration, it's all around us. You just need to know where to look. Investing in your house is one of the best financial things you can do for your family. At First Assured Mortgage, we're inspired by you to help you find the best loan for your needs. Come and see us at First Assured Mortgage, where we're locally owned, and we'll meet you anytime, in the evening or during the day. 785-621-4447.
You never know where life is going to take you.
Everybody has a dream. Amelia Cafaro hopes to share her unique vision with the world.
The work that I have is a reflection of how I feel.
American Family Insurance is helping protect what she's achieved so she can fearlessly go after her dream. To find out how our auto, home, life, and commercial insurance can help you, visit amfam.com
For
today.
auto, home, life, and health, see American Family Insurance Agent Whitey Cole of Hayes and Ellis.
I'm Jennifer Tepfer, and I found my new home at Williams Real Estate.
I'm Jerry Wilson, and I found my new home at Williams Real Estate.
I'm Jennifer Johnson, and I found my new home with Williams Real Estate.
We found our new home. Let us help you find yours.
Williams Real Estate, for residential or commercial, 1011 East 27th Street in Hayes in the Eagle Business Plaza. Or you can see them online at williamsrealestate.net.
Western Supply in Hayes has been working with local contractors and homeowners for over 25 years, providing faucets and fixtures for new home and remodeling projects. Come on into Western Supply and let their in-house consultants work with you. Western Supply has 2 brand new showrooms full of ideas to meet all of your kitchen and bath needs. If you can dream it, we have it. Everything from one-piece and multi-piece showers to bathroom tubs and tops. It's all right here.
Come see us at Western Supply, 1207 Cedar, Hayes.
Oh my goodness, Andrea. The professional's arrived, and guess what he's doing? He's messing with my crack. Oh no. Jeff, what are you doing?
Good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you. I see you found one of our first problems.
I did. Typically on some of these cracks, we need to come in first and get them cleaned up before we can repair them.
So you got to make them worse before you can make them better?
You got it.
I think that happens a lot around here, doesn't it? Yeah, the house looks like it's in complete chaos before we see it come together. I got to ask you something though, because I got to. Why is it that I have an old? Hold on here a second. Let me see that.
Oh, mine's like that.
Check this out. Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
That's pretty nice. All right, now show me exactly what you've got going on here with this. See that sleight of hand.
He's good.
I'm sorry,
He's good.
I'll
I'll take that.
What do we do?
Like I said, we need to clean out some of these cracks just by taking some of this old stuff that just comes off by your hand. You want to try to, like you said, make it worse before it's going to get any better.
Right.
So we're trying to make a smooth kind of a divot so we can come in with our wall compound, our putty, and make it smooth and get ready for sanding and get some paint on it.
Now there is an added layer of challenge in this house, an old house, and a lot of houses have wallpaper, because I can see right here there's a bit of paper sticking back.
Oh yeah.
Do you suggest peeling that back till you find it where it's tight, or is that starting something that's...
I don't know if you want to go there.
Oh, we go there around here.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
If you have a good set amount of time that you want to spend on this, then you can definitely pull it off. But like I said, there is a reason why this is going to be on there.
Yeah.
So I would keep it.
So one of the better things is to do is maybe cut back a ways, because I do see where it's like that. I'm going to throw something at you if you heard of this, but I remember way back when a gentleman who did mudding and taping his whole life, he talked about using aluminum window screen.
Okay.
He would take aluminum window screen, cut it into a strip, and he would use that as his tape.
Sure.
And I always thought that was a real kind of a fancy, cool idea.
They do make some sort of patches like that nowadays.
Yeah.
Sticky on the outside.
And he talked about it, especially at door corners, because
great.
There's a lot of movement there, and that tries to kind of holds that together.
Sure.
So in this house, inside here, we have door cracks. We have walls that have paper on them.
Yep.
We're gonna have
holes that you're.
Yeah, these are old outlets that are.
Obvious.
I'm not gonna touch that because I think that could be hot, and
Lots of holes to be
patched. I'll see if I'm faster than electricity.
Yeah, that's
Speeding on Munchie is what they call me. So we have holes to patch. We have new sheetrock walls. We've got a couple doorways we're actually gonna patch in, and so we're gonna transition from old walls to new sheetrock back to old walls. What am I up against?
We better get some buckets ready.
Like buckets of beer?
Yes, eventually, of course.
It's called a cave.
Of course, but I would say that if you're going to do your cut lines, you want to lay off on the beer.
Wow. So what you're trying to tell me is that in the inside of this house with all the different transitions, in all your years of experience you've been doing this, are there some tips you can give me, or I mean, beyond beer?
Sure.
I mean, what kind of things would you do?
Well, typically when I come in, anything that's going to be, once we fix these and come in and with new compound, new sheetrock mud, anything like that, it's going to need to be primed first before you can put any paint on it.
Oh, it seems like such a waste of time priming.
It seems like it, but it's gonna save you at the end. Otherwise, there's what they call flashing, where if you do not prime it and just put regular latex or any sort of enamel on top of it,
right,
you're gonna see that. Any sort of light coming in, indirect or direct, you're gonna see it. So, and you're gonna call me back to come back and fix it.
So is flashing that's that difference you see where it may be you may get one kind of sheen coming across and then it just kind of changes. You ever seen that where
it absorbs differently? I always use
it absorbs differently. Yeah, exactly. And does that so that's what causes that kind of looks like a shadow?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Okay. See, I always use primer to prevent stains from bleeding through.
Of course, it's the same idea.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
You know, you're making both make me look bad because I've been one to shun primer.
Oh, wow.
Who needs primer? You don't need to prime things, but obviously I need to prime things.
You need to prime things.
All right, well, I'll take that into consideration. All right, I'll do it. I guess you've convinced me.
Very good.
Because I want it to, number one, I want it to be right. I don't want to waste my time. Now, here's my next question.
Sure.
How do you go about picking, they talk about, is it sheen? Or your sheen is what is sheen?
Sheen is going to be the reflective surface that the paint has once it dries. Typically, you go for flats on the ceilings. Flats typically hide imperfections better. One drawback with flat paint is that you can't clean it very well.
You can't take a washcloth to it.
You can't, because you'll notice that.
Right.
So it's typically reserved for ceilings, areas that aren't going to be touched all that often or cleaned. If you clean your ceilings, I'm not sure if you do that or not.
Yeah.
Typically, eggshell or semi-gloss would be reserved for the trim for doors, any high traffic areas.
Right.
Eggshell is pretty common or satin for walls, just because it does give that same effect as flat paint, as it hides some of the imperfections. But it's also cleanable.
When you talk about all these different things, you talk about enamel, and you talk about this now, are we talking about getting out enamel, like we're talking the solvent-based enamels? Or are we talking on interior painting? Do you focus mostly with the latex, the water-based?
Yeah, for the most part. We're looking for more of a low VOC, which is green energy.
It doesn't have the gas.
The smell.
Oh,
but it still has the same properties.
Ah, Okay, but it still has the same. So
Well-
VOCs, sheen. Go ahead.
Well, and isn't there a kind of paint now that it has, you can clean it up with water like latex, but
Sure.
it's stronger like the oil paint?
Exactly,
paint?
yes. It's 100% alkyd, which means that it dries and acts like an oil-based paint would, but it cleans up with soap and water.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that stuff.
Wow.
Use a
Okay,
lot.
so that's sheen. You said alkyd. Alkyd. Never heard of that. Got to Google that. We're talking about the different types of flat. I got to use primer. I think when I get a little further along, I might just call you because I've got buckets of beer to drink. It looks like.
Very good. Be happy to help.
Well, I like him already. I'm telling you. All right. So we've talked about the inside. That's a lot, and there's a whole lot more to it than that even. But what we're going to do is we're going to move outside because I've got questions outside as well that I think we need to discuss because there's a lot of stuff going on the outside of this house as well. I think we need to kind of address. Will you follow us out there and help us?
Let's go take a look.
Very good. We will be right back.
You see their trucks all over the area. The name, JDR Painting. They're getting great reviews for great painting jobs. JDR Painting, respecting your home and your business with great painting results. JDR Painting, a new way to get a little, medium, and big painting job done. You can even book your painting jobs online to be done when you want it done. Schedule it now at repaintkansas.com. JDR Painting, a new and refreshing way to paint.
Your house, you've painted it, fixed it, you've insured it, paid its taxes, and you've loved it. We think it owes you big time. So at Bank of Hayes, we've made it easy to take some of that equity you put into your house and turn it into cash you can put in your pocket. And with that cash, you can do anything. With Home Equity Line of Credit, we'll make your house pay. And it's about time. Building better ways. The Bank of Hayes.
Building better ways, the Bank of Hayes.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Gable with Technology Integration Solutions. Call us today for a free estimate and let us see how we can simplify things for you.
You know, I don't want Jeff to know about this, but I'm a little upset with him. You know, the last guest we had, I kind of got a little irritated in the first segment because.
Which Jeff are we talking
Well, we're talking the painter, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
He'll be here soon, but I kind of want his knife. So before he leaves, I want to distract him. You need to just create like a disturbance in the front yard. Maybe drive off in his truck or
Okay, right.
run a key
Stealing
down
his
the
car
side because he's a
versus
painter.
stealing his-
He's a painter. He can fix it. He's right. So I want that knife before we.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to House to Home. I'm Kris, and this is Andrea, and this is the guy that has a cool utility knife that I really want to own someday. Welcome back, young man.
Thank you.
I'm glad you followed us out here because we do need your help.
Okay.
Beyond the fact that I want to steal your knife.
Okay, well.
All right.
Sure.
So let's talk. Let's.
Better put a lock
I'll
on
keep that in my
that.
pocket.
Yeah, you better keep. Yeah, you better put a lock on that. All right. I've had some dads say that too, but. You got that, didn't you?
Yeah, finally I got one.
All right, we're outside. We have stone, we have Miratech, we have Hardy, we have rough cedar, and we also have eaves that have been up there for 6 billion years.
Looks like it.
And they have paint that's peeling. I am going to guess that there is probably some lead in there.
I'm assuming there is.
Where would you start on the outside of this house?
Where would I start?
Yes.
Well, you're not going to like it, but we're going to need to prime. A lot of priming.
Here we go again, that prime word.
It is. It's very important. A lot of these things come with a factory primer, and people assume since they think it's primed already that they can go ahead and top coat it, which You might be able to get away with that for a while.
Right.
But typically what this is a shipping primer, so it's not getting damaged when it's getting beat up on the trucks and getting unloaded, dirty hands. So it's going to need to be properly prepped before you can get to it.
So let me ask you something. Okay, since we have the eaves up here and they're old, they're peeling, would you suggest hand scraping that, or would you suggest power washing it first?
We're going to do both.
Yeah.
You want to do both?
We're going to go with hand scraping it first just to get all the big stuff out.
The big stuff off.
Once we're done, we're going to come in and power wash it. You got a little fine dirt and any paint chips that we couldn't get initially.
And when you're talking power washing, we're not talking, 17 or I don't know how many PSI, or I actually saw somebody one time power washing. They were using what was called a spin tip, and they were literally blowing the wood apart. I mean, it was tearing up the soft core of the wood, and it was blowing the paint off, but unfortunately it was blowing the wood off.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. So you're talking about just doing a light wash.
Yeah, like you would if you were gonna wash your truck, your car. You want something.
You don't want to peel the paint off of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want it clean, but you want to keep the paint on.
Exactly.
But in this case, it'll take it off just the same.
Would you do that first since it's on the top?
Up there, I would scrape, yes, and I'd work my way down.
So start at the top, work my way down.
Always.
We get that done and prime. Now let me ask you this: we're outside. Do you prime with oil base or latex?
That's usually a personal preference.
Is it really?
We do both.
So you could do both, and there's
a lot of great products that are latex based that are for priming. You don't see all that many oil based ones anymore, like we talked about. Like they wouldn't make a 100% alkyd that's soap and water cleanup for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because oil's not fun to clean up. You might as well just throw your tools.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets all over and on your roof, and
hard to come off.
It is very hard to come off. Okay, so we power wash the eaves. We hand scrape. We power wash. I've even had to go back and hand scrape again sometimes because it even loosens after it dries. Yeah, it kind of pops loose. So I've done that. You go back and do the caulking.
Yep.
I got a crazy question about caulking.
Okay.
You go to the store and you'll see caulking that is 5-year, 10-year, 780-year caulking. Where do you begin even picking caulking?
I first want to find something that's paintable. There's a lot of them out there that if they're highly silicone based, you can't paint it. You can put paint on it, but it won't stick.
That's true. So silicone, but you have to look. Is it going to be a painted surface or? Yeah, that's very true.
And that's the main thing that we look for. As long as we can paint it, we can use. Sometimes the customer is going to already have the caulking before we get there, so we just use what they have. There's no sense of going out and getting other things for them. So.
Right. So we've power washed, we've scraped, we've caulked in all the loose places. We've started to work our way down. Would you recommend, even though this is brand new siding, would you wash it?
Oh yeah.
You would wash it to get because I noticed when we cut it, it had a kind of a dusty.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I mean, other than the fact that right now this has been out here a while, well, if I rub my fingers on it, it still has a little bit of a.
Right.
So you would wash all of that down. Would you caulk it before you wash it or after?
Before.
So go ahead and get it all caulked in and get it all.
Everything sealed. That we don't have to worry about pushing any water back behind there, creating more damage before we're fixing something.
Earlier, you mentioned masonite siding.
siding. Yeah.
And how to know when it's time to replace it.
Yeah.
Do you find a lot of houses with masonite siding?
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of houses still out there with it.
Yes, there is.
What was your question?
Well, just when exposed, the fibers are exposed and the old paint is peeled off. How to know when you can paint or cover over, patch over it, or when to just replace the board.
I guess it depends on how fresh the surface is, meaning how soon has it been peeled off? Is it something recent from a storm? Did you back into it, hit it with a lawnmower, stuff like that?
Yeah.
You can normally get away by sealing those with a good primer, a good sealer, and a primer together.
Okay.
And then paint over. It depends. What you need to look after though is the underneath on the siding. That's exactly where water's going to drip down. Yeah. Moisture's going to come up when the heat comes from to get all the ground from being wet.
Isn't that the truth? Because, man, you see on houses where the siding will be good, and then all of a sudden about right here, where people don't paint under this edge, that's where that
no one's
water...
going to see it.
Yeah, nobody's going to see it, so they think it doesn't... But the water wicks, doesn't it? It kind of sucks up into that siding because it's a composite,
Yep.
and it becomes a sponge over the years.
Very graham crackery like.
Yeah. And then when you grab it, it just pops apart. Man, okay, we got one more thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and that's another reason why you want 6 inches between your siding and the dirt.
Exactly.
Because when water hits there,
So it
and
doesn't splash back up. That's exactly right. What's the best way if I want to do cedar natural? What is one of the better sealers for outside?
There's a product called Sickens, which is a stain and a sealer all in one.
Ah,
so you
I've never heard of that.
You can spray it on, you can brush it on, you can roll it on, and once it's done, drying, that's your finished product.
Really? No primer?
Is it different than like
No primer. No primer.
Yeah, I like that. We're putting Sickens on the whole house. We're going to Sickens this baby right up.
So is that different than like a varnish finish though?
It's the same idea. And it's just mixed together. It's more of a 2-in-1, if you will.
Oh, okay.
That's very cool. And I'll tell you what, as we talk about this, Miratech is very similar to Masonite, kind of the same prep, the caulking, getting our nails sealed, make sure that's all done. We talked about some cedar. We didn't talk about the stone. Would you power wash the stone?
Of course.
Get it all cleaned up? Because I think it'll look nice. It's been here forever. It's natural. Probably wouldn't have to seal it.
No.
Yeah, just leave it natural and let it kind of do its own.
I would. I'd just clean it up.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
You the man. You know, other than the fact that you're making me prime everything, I like it because of your knife. You've impressed me.
Good.
I'll invite you back again. I think we could get along other than the fact that I need to do a little work right here.
You got to get going.
Because that beard is impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
What about mine?
What about yours? You'll be all right.
No.
We will be right back to wrap this up.
When that garage door doesn't open like it used to, then it's time to call Strobel Door and Repair of Russell. They'll travel to almost anywhere in Kansas to repair or replace garage doors for residential or commercial applications. The crews from Strobel can replace your garage door, adjust it, and can replace or fix your garage door opener. Call them and set up your appointment today and save on that frustration. Strobel Door and Repair of Russell. Call 785-483-7665. That's 785-483-7665.
Since 1892, Heartland Building Center has continued to provide
Northwest Kansas with superior customer service and quality products.
Offering high-performance windows and doors,
beautiful cabinetry,
floor and roof trusses,
storage sheds, lumber, and decking.
everything for the professional and the do-it-yourself homeowner.
With a full line of hardware. 2 superior paints and stains.
We've got it.
At your locally owned and operated Heartland Building Center, Hayes, Stockton, and Russell.
After a hard day's work, there's nothing quite like enjoying an ice-cold beer and biting into a juicy Q burger from the Golden Q in Hayes. The Q offers 12 beers on tap from the ice-cold Wizard beer system, poured at a chilly 27 to 30 degrees. When it comes to burgers, the Golden Q is the only choice. Try the Q burger or one of the many specialty burgers like the Bacon Extreme or 4-cheese double cheeseburger. If a burger's not your thing, a delicious sandwich or bowl of homemade soup is waiting for you. And remember, if the game's on, they're open. The Golden Q, 8th and Ash in Hayes.
Each year, about 400 electrocutions occur in the United States. You can avoid shock by knowing one basic premise. Electricity always seeks the easiest path to the ground, and you are a perfect conductor. Stay 20 feet from damaged power lines. And if down wires touch your car, don't get out, stay inside and call for help. And don't let others touch the car until it's safe. Electrical safety tips for Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
Look at this.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
look at this stuff just popping
Yeah.
off. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Look at
and
this.
I'm getting it in my face.
Oh my goodness. I probably should be wearing a mask, huh?
Yeah.
Because didn't he mention
Or
something about
goggles.
lead?
Oh, yeah.
You think that's cool? You see that?
Yeah.
You want to see what else is cool?
Chris, you didn't.
I'm such a tool. I do believe I stole his scraper.
Well, I think it's more than a scraper.
It's well, I'm telling you, this is a
It's
scraper.
got, like-
It's a knife.
What's that for?
Not sure what that
Opening
is.
your beers?
Maybe, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. He's a painter. He works up high all the time. So I'm going to guess what he does is he puts eye bolts and he hangs. So he's got one here and he swings to the next one. And he ratchets, he swings. He
And
doesn't
so
even,
now he's not going to be able to do that, and
He
he's
doesn't
going
even
to
use the
fall to the
ladder.
ground because you stole his tool.
he hooks from one, and as he's swinging, he'll be like, where is it? Good stuff, huh?
Yeah.
I know he shared a lot of things with us that I didn't even take into consideration. Number one, primer.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of primer, but I obviously know that I need to do some priming.
Well, there's stuff even before priming, though. I mean, scraping and filling in gaps and holes and all of
it just
that.
wears me out even thinking about all the preparation work, because it is a lot like what I've been doing in the house, doing all that stuff behind the scenes, the electrical, the plumbing,
I know.
all the stuff. And what's really fun is countertops and the pretty stuff.
Yeah.
We talked about inside. That's another thing inside, the cracks above doorways. How many people have those? And they'll take a little bit of caulking or something. They'll just try to fill it in. They paint over it, and before you know it, it pops right open. And he had this fancy little knife out, it was a scraper. And the first thing he did is he goes in there and he starts using this hook and he's cleaning it all out. I'm like,
crack in there.
you're making it worse before you make it better.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys had to tear down a few walls, make it a big mess before you...
You do have to take it backwards first before you can really go forward with it.
Yeah.
And that's really the next thing that's going to happen outside, is get a power washer. And because
I've got one. You can borrow mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, do you have a lift? One of those sky lift things you get in the bucket and you run it around?
Who do you think I am?
You have a power washer, but
You don't.
that's one of the things we're going to do on this house because of the height. Is we're going to get a power washer or a lift and go around and get all this loose stuff broken off here, because it's like he said, unless we get that off there, it's just gonna stick.
Take your new paint with it
Yeah.
when it comes off later.
Get all the caulking work done. We're going to power wash, even though it's brand new siding, to get all that powder off of there from when it was built. And like he said, the primer that comes on it is not made.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
It's more of a
didn't know
shipping
that.
primer.
Yeah.
So we're going to make sure we prime over the caulking. Another thing, got to make sure we pick the right kind of caulking. That's important too. I'm beginning to think that maybe the best thing to do is just to get a hold of Jeff and just have him take care of this, because it's like there's a lot to do. There's a lot to be thinking about.
A lot of details.
Which is something cool that he had shared with us before he left, was the way he does his pricing on his website. So you can go to his website and he blocks it out by room, so you can do a bedroom and a bathroom, or here's what I charge flat rate for a house. I'm sure there's things, because like we talked about, I'm sure if he got there and saw half your masonite siding was rotten, and he made it very clear, and this is something I like. You ask him, do you replace siding? And he said, no, I focus on painting.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool, because I think sometimes the professional can get too broad in the things they do, and the next thing you know, they're doing everything from this to this to this to this, where what I like about what Jeff is doing is he focuses on painting.
Yeah.
He's a professional painter, and that's what
everything about that
I know.
industry.
He said words that I was like, alkali, what was the stuff for the cedar?
I don't even remember.
I don't
News to me.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll go back and say, hey, that stuff you were talking about for my cedar, and I'll be like, oh, look what you must have dropped this.
Yeah.
Because I feel a little guilty.
Yeah,
Maybe I
you
should
should.
give this back. You think I should?
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't find out, but
I think he...
wait a minute. Hey,
Oh, no.
you leave the ladder. No, don't take our ladder.
I hope he had that.
If you're ready to replace your bath or shower enclosure and want a professional installation, stop by Advantage Glass Plus in Hayes. Select a standard or customized enclosure, framed or frameless, with hinged, pivoting, or sliding doors. Give your bath some personality and style with patterned glass available in many textures, including obscured, clear, and rain. Let the glass experts from Advantage Glass Plus create your new bath enclosure. 1005 Vine in Hayes. Find our ad in the Next Tech directory.
Glassman Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The choice is perfectly clear. For plumbing or HVAC repair for over 50 years. We're the name you trust, the name you know. Glassman does it all. When the air won't blow or the water won't flow, give Glassman a call. Glassman Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The choice is perfectly clear. Glassman Plumbing, Heating.
It's not hard to figure out why Western Stone and Hayes is so busy these days. Since opening their doors in 2008, their motto has been a simple one: offer a high-quality product in a very timely manner. Take a look around. Their work speaks for itself. If it's important to you to have someone call you back, getting the job done quickly, professionally, and on budget, then give Western Stone a call to book your project today. With everything manufactured on site, Western Stone products are built to outlast the competition. Western Stone, just east of Walmart in Hayes.
Why go anywhere else but Horizon Appliance and Electronics for quality name brand appliances like Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Maytag, plus many state-of-the-art electronics such as Samsung, LG, and Sharp TVs, plus America's most recommended mattress, Tempur-Pedic, even Traeger grills. A full selection of quality appliances, electronics, and mattresses all under one roof. Horizon Appliance and Electronics in Hayes, open 7 days a week.
Oh man, Andrea, that was kind of fun with him.
Yeah.
He was a hoot, and he took our ladder, and we finally get down. He got his little tool back, and
now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly, you do know. So, last segment here, if my walls could talk, and what's kind of interesting about all this is I just got back literally yesterday from a conference in Atlanta. It was all about suicide and suicide prevention and hotlines, all these different things. And you know, one of the things we were talking about earlier with Jeff was the fact that, like, when do you bring in a professional to help paint? And it's pretty obvious there is a lot to painting.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than you would think. I mean, that's kind of the thing people think they can do themselves, but there's a right and a wrong way.
Yeah, and it is funny because, I mean, I think you have to do a lot of research before people just think, well, I'm just going to paint. But they'll go through all that work and maybe not do the preparation, or let's say you put on new siding and you don't wash it, and the next thing you know, 2 summers from now, the paint's falling off the house, and you're like, what did I do? And I think that leads really well into this segment. Like, you know, when after Blake died or after my divorce, I remember refusing counseling. Like, I don't need a professional. I can do this on my own. I mean, how does that?
Well, I know that that's something that I think a lot of people, I don't know if it's so much that always that they think they can do it on their own, but it's scary to open up to another person that you don't know, and that's just kind of an uncomfortable thing to do, I think.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of funny because, well, it's not funny, it's actually kind of sad, but most of the workshops I do for the Birdhouse Project are women. You know, I always say the only man there is the one that was drugged there by his wife, you know, and I think that happens a lot because guys, I think going and finding a professional, and I think this is true in painting or in getting help, you know, for mental help, is the fact that we don't want to show that we don't know how to do something.
Well, that's true too.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I don't want to show you that I don't know how to do something, so I'm just going to pretend that I know what I'm doing. You know, painting a house wrong, that's one thing, but not going and seeking professional help.
That can
you know, if you're
affect
struggling.
a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, because you talk about in, you know, in marriage and different things. You know, I don't like to necessarily say I failed twice at marriage. I guess I don't know that I approached it correctly going into it. And so I'm trying to take some different approaches and talking to some people and saying, now, what can I do here? What can I do there to make it better, different? And what you shared out the fairgrounds, you know, about how you and Josh try to work things through and talk, that's cool. Even though you're not a professional at it, you're doing something right. So it makes me step back.
I'd like to think so.
You do like to think so. So it makes me want to step back and listen to your advice.
Yeah, well, even when we talk about these things, sometimes there's something you'll say that I'm like, I never thought about it that way, never saw it in that light.
Yeah, and I think, so even if we don't go out and seek a professional painter or a professional counselor or somebody in that area, it's good to go find somebody that will listen. I think is probably one of the even more important things. If I have questions on how to paint my house, I can go to Heartland and talk to one of those guys there. If I don't know Jeff and don't know how to get a hold of him, or I don't want to ask him, you know, I'm not in position. I think same way goes with counseling, and I say this a lot, and I address guys a lot. But if you're out there and you're struggling, you know, you're struggling in a marriage, or gosh, there's just so many things we can struggle with. You know, it's okay to go find help. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't look at me as weak if I told you, hey, I'm gonna go see my counselor this week.
No, not at all. In fact, I have some friend that does that. He does. He goes and he talks about it, and I think it's more power to him. That, I mean, he wants to be better. He wants to feel better, and if that's what it takes, you know, man,
Yeah.
I support that.
It's not weakness. It's actually, I think,
No.
shows strength that
Yeah.
you're actually trying to do that. Good stuff today.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for joining me on If My Walls Could Talk. My walls could talk. Andrea's walls are talking. I promise you, our walls will keep talking. We'll see you next week.